What's the one thing about your cultural stereotype you hate the most? Which aspect of your stereotype do you despise the most? Edit. It helps if you actually tell us what stereotype you're talking about. Guessing isn't very fun. Edit 2. Thank you all so much for your responses. It's very interesting to see how stereotypes affect and annoy people. I tried to read as much as I could. Over 4k comments is a lot. Resubmitted. I'm only half Asian. Everyone copied off of me from tests. Entire class got a D. I like the implication that you're bad at tests because you're only half Asian. Purebreds are far superior. The NZ half of me, that weef peep sheep. The Welsh half of me, that weef peep sheep. Is your username a Welsh word? Cunt in cold water? Asians are geniuses. People always come up to me looking for help on their homework and whatnot, even though I have not a clue what the peep I'm doing either. You need to use it in your favor to get sexual favors in return. Demonstrate value of X. Drunkenness. Irish. I can have a drink without getting pissed. Like. Exactly. I went on holiday and this girl insisted that she went and got drunk with me. She also asked if I had seen any leprechauns. Well, have you? Only when he was drunk. All the time then. Your username leads me to believe you're Irish. Redhead here. People always ask if the carpet matches the drapes, but we are not all interior designers. Do you burn if you turn up the brightness on your monitor? I use sunscreen when play games for more than an hour. German here. I hate it when people say we have no humor. It's not funny. As a German living in Australia, I have made it my goal to eradicate tired old German stereotypes. Something I'm doing with brutal efficiency. Italian American male. I hate that everyone thinks I have mother issues, because it makes it harder to hide the fact that I have mother issues. My dad's side of the family is Italian, and I like to think he didn't fit any stereotype. And then I remember he lived with his mother until he was 32. Yay. I was pretty close with my mother too. Living in Oxford, England. Some people often assume I'm very clever/intelligent because of the famous university. I'm a moron and it really gets on my tits when people start asking me about what course I'm doing. I work part-time at a Subway. Start asking me about what course I'm doing. Say you're at Brooks. Explains everything. I'm at Oxford. Ooh. Brooks. Oh. Wow. You study at Oxford? Me. I study in Oxford. Yes. For Germany. Lederhosen and Bavaria. No offense to Bavaria though. But it's like having Texas represent all of America. Another German that thinks Bavaria is our Texas can confirm it is. I'm Bavarian. As a Somali, I'd just like to add that we're not all buying pirates. You have the internet. Are you pirating it? What's a pirate's favorite letter? A. No, it'd be the C. No, it's actually the P. Without it they're irate. I'm pretty irate too if I've not had a pee in a while. I hate that everyone who hears about the Netherlands automatically jumps to Amsterdam, weed and hookers. Just because it isn't illegal doesn't mean everyone smokes pot and has sex for money. There's much more to the Netherlands and Dutch people. For example, we are very good with water supply and sanitation and flood control. Swamp Germans is coming up as a new stereotype for you guys. The distinction is very clear on beaches. Germans will dig holes to shelter themselves from the wind or artillery. And Dutch people will generally build dikes and extend the beach into the sea as far as possible, fighting the tide. I know it sounds ridiculous but it's true. Speeps genetic yo. Indians rarely eat curry. We often use the spices used to make curry in dishes. But it's rare that we eat a dish that most people consider curry. Our people do, unfortunately, sometimes smell like curry. Sometimes? More like sometimes don't smell like curry. Assuming I like math because I'm Asian. I don't like it. I love it. Username checks out. Someone get him a calculator. You mean a twin brother? As a Chinese person, we don't just all coincidentally look the same, okay? I mean, a lot of hard work and cloning research went into that, as you would understand if you just wait until exigency plan 8-1 comes to global fruition. Geez. I'm Irish, and I hate that leprechaun accent. I can handle the other stereotypes. That we all live on farms wearing Aran sweaters and eating potatoes with a pint of Guinness. However, the cartoon accent that goes along with it just riles me up a la Tom Cruise in Far and Away. No Irish person has ever said top o' the morning to ya. Yeah, I live in England and people don't believe I'm Irish cause I have mild Dublin accent. And to be sure means to be absolutely certain. For example, will you check the door is locked? Just to be sure. We caught the sheep first. Well, I've never. A gentleman from Wales. Mew. The machismo. I love my family, but damn they can be annoying. I'm a man that likes to help my wife clean, and I sometimes enjoy cooking for myself when I get out of work, but I know that the rest of my family hates it when they see me doing things like washing dishes. When my mom is visiting and she sees me doing dishes after work, she will make passive-aggressive jokes about how the gender roles have changed and that what I was doing would be a poor reflection of my wife in her days. My dad is normally quieter, but when he gets with my uncles and drinks he won't stfoo about teaching my wife respect and how I have to tell her what to do so she can be a good housewife. This comes hand in hand with how hard-headed and old school the culture can be. They refuse to change and see things in a new light. Our way is the way it's been done for generations, so it has to be the only way. If you had not guessed it, I'm Mexican, but I doubt we are the only race that experiences this. Behind your back they call you Mandolin, if my family is anything to go by. Half Scottish and half Mohawk. I'm descended on both sides from savages who ran screaming and naked at the English. Is nothing about my stereotypes that I dislike. So do the liquor holding stereotypes cancel each other out, so that you're just about average at it? Scottish genes make it so the fire water is contained within me the way haggis contains the spirit of the sheep. As an English guy, I hate how people think we always drink tea. I only drink 1 or 2 cups a day, and my dad only drinks 4. Tea is good, though. True. BRB. Making tea. As a Canadian, I hate when people think the upper part of my head is separated from my body and is just flying over it when I'm talking. I'm not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. I'm not your buddy, guy. And now, we have come full circle. As a mid-class white girl in America, don't think I can't even. Because in fact I can. As an American, I don't like that people assume we are all fat gun-toting assholes who wear white socks. I wear black socks, guys. Black. This is America. They are called African American socks. HMM. Well, okay. But they don't get to vote. Nonsense. These days they are entitled to their 3/5 of a vote. Hawaii, that all locals are unintelligent and hate white people. True. There are a lot of people like that here, but not nearly as bad as it once was. It's gotten to the point where, if you did good in school, people will say you weren't a real Hawaiian/Tongan/Samoan. Even more infuriating to me is the way some local people here act about how blood percentage is more important than actually learning and living the culture. My Hawaiian language teacher for all 4 years of high school, who taught me everything I knew about Hawaiian language and the culture, is only a quarter Hawaiian. She told me that like a lot of her kumas had very little Hawaiian blood as well. And then there's those who have completely forgotten what it means to spread the spirit of aloha, who constantly brag about their bloodline. It really annoys me that a lot of people don't even try to learn about their own culture and ancestors. I was stationed at Kania Bay for a spell and absolutely loved going into Kailua. It seemed the edit more rural the area, he more true to aloha spirit the people were. The lady that ran the breakfast place I went to daily, the chow hall sucked, aside from the awesome fruit, would always put extra food on my plate because I enjoyed it so much. She never wanted me to leave a tip either, because no baby you know have tar. Don't think I ever encountered the blood percentage deal, but my interactions with the natives was rather limited. Edit. Porter Rural. Thank you /u/Limakoko. Wasn't trying to imply poverty, but rather to distinguish from the built-up areas like Honolulu. As a white person, I hate when people assume I burn easy. I'd have to go outside for that to happen. White South African. People deciding that I must be racist because I'm a white South African, which is just so racist. Indian South African here. Can confirm on my parents' behalf. Edit. Can confirm that my parents think white racist. Let me just clear that up. I'm from upstate New York. Oh, I love New York City. No, upstate New York. Like Buffalo. Oh. How close is that to New York City? You wouldn't believe how many people think that New York City and New York State are the same thing. Edit. I know Buffalo is considered Western New York. I'm from here. Depending on who you're talking to, WNY, CNY, North Country, and Capital Region can all be lumped into upstate New York. Well, that's something to expect when you create a nation where cities share names with states. Am I right? And half of the places are named after other places, like York, Boston, etc. That's something that happens quite often in America as a whole. Lots of places, especially in the USA and Mexico, have the exact same name as some city or county in Europe, or else follow the new formula. Colonists' homesickness at its maximum. Homesickness. I guess that's why you don't see many new hulls. That we Brits love to queue. It's not that we love to queue, it's that we hate it if you don't queue. Or people that don't follow proper queuing etiquette.